I'm going to go to the story. Michael Burry. Okay?
Yeah.
Michael Burry, who we know at the end of the movie Big Short, he says, water is what I'm going to be going into.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know, Rob, if you have the clip at the end of Big Short. If you type in Big Short, end of Big Short movie water on Twitter, it should come up. However, all of a sudden, quietly, he comes out and he announces something and he pisses off Palantir. How dare you, Michael Burry, say such a thing? Burry reveals Nvidia and Palantir puts after bubble warning. What? You mean to tell me Nvidia, a $5 trillion company, is not going to be a $10 trillion company in the next couple weeks, Michael? Michael says no. All right, so let's read this. Michael Burry's Scion Asset Management disclosed bearish wagers on Nvidia and Palantir Technologies just days after hedge fund manager posted a cryptic warning to retail investors about market exuberance. Rob, I think you have this up there.
So I have two clips that Brandon sent from Alex Karp.
Can you start off with the first one of showing what he shorted? Why don't you show what Michael Burry put up that he's shorting? You know which one I'm talking about, Brandon?
Yeah.
It's the second one where he's talking about the shorting, right?
Yeah, both of them he's complaining about the shorting. Yeah, you could. It doesn't matter which one.
No, what I'm trying to say is there is actually a tweet from Michael Burry, which prompted all of this. We have to start there first, saying this is what he's going to be doing. And it's freaked a lot of people out. Okay, he puts a chart showing the fact that they're going to be doing, I don't know if you found it or not.
The charts that he posted, it showed that he's basically thinks that the cloud storage and all. Yeah, there you go. That's
and the reason why it's gotten out of play because he was on an island and he was proven correct when it came to the bubble in the mortgage environment. So that's why people are looking at this now. Every CEO is going to get pissed off when you short them. So that's a normal reaction.
Very.
So, but this is something that the reason why people are paying such close attention is because this guy's kind of gone quiet for a long time, and now suddenly another. Could this be could he be 2 for 2?
Yeah. So go ahead, Rob. Can you go to the second one? Is this him breaking down what he foresees happening with him?
Comparing it to the tech bubble, saying that there's like a correlation with the charts and everything. And then he shows the flywheel of the U.S. economy right now, how everything's like, they're saying like 80% of GDP growth has been because of data center building.
Okay, and then go to the Palantir guy. Alex, go ahead.
Super triggering because these people, they could pick on any company in the world. They have to pick on the one that actually helps people, that actually has made money for the average person, that is actually supporting our war fighters. Why do they have to go after us? And I'll tell you what, it's crazy motivating because I'll tell you why the short sellers are constantly getting screwed by Palantir. Because every time they short us, we just are like tripling down on getting the better numbers.
Okay, go to the next one. Go ahead, Rob.
He's actually putting a short on AI. So the way I read it was us and Nvidia, and it's like
he's the biggest position is you, though.
Yeah.
I'm just looking through all of his shorts.
Great. Okay. So, and then, by the way, with the shorts, it's very complex. It's not even clear that, honestly, I think what is going on here is market manipulation. We delivered the best results anyone's ever seen. It's not even clear he's not doing this to get out of his position. I mean, these people, they claim to be ethical, but, they're actually shorting one of the great businesses of the world. And I'm not against shorting as a matter of theory, but I'm just saying pick something that is not doing a noble task. And
just not his company.
Just not his company. Tom,
by the way, look at the chart. It's gone parabolic. Okay?
It has. Yeah, there's no question about it.
So let's not talk about the leadership of Palantir. And people give this guy a lot of credit for being a crazy genius. Mm-hmm. And let's not talk about the products of Palantir. Let's just talk about the stock market, which can be over-enthusiastic at times. And Palantir at 207 was the stock price when the fund started, is a PE of over 620.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute. That's like your grandfather says, hey, my blood pressure is 410. They say it's the greatest of all time. I say, Grandpa, you're about to die. That's the wrong stat to set a record on. And it went down 10%. 20.7, and now it's hovering this morning 182.7. Oh, here it is, 184.5. Is that live?
Nice bounce.
Okay, so that's a little bitty bounce, but that means it's down 10%. But now the PE, that means the PE should be 440, 430. Can you scroll down? What's PE?
Yep, 430.
430. There we go.
Nice.
So now the PE is down to a not completely unconscious alcohol poisoning.
430 is not
0.25.
unconscious.
No, hang on,
That is
hang on,
still-
hang on.
Pretty high.
You're
Hang on,
talking, that's 6 bottles of
620.
tequila.
620 is a blood alcohol of 0.4.
Rob, do me a-
0.1, you get arrested for
Do
drunk
me a
driving.
favor,
0.4,
Rob.
you're dead.
Can you just go
This
to
is still 0.25. You're
what
still
is
drunk as a
Apple's
skunk.
PE ratio? Go look at what is Apple. Do me a favor. Go to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT what is. I'm going to give you several companies. What is Apple?
While we're looking those up,
Alphabet.
you know what my point is,
Microsoft?
Pat?
Of
We're not
course I
far
do.
enough yet.
Alphabet.
It's still 400.
Give me another. Walmart. Okay. Give me another one outside of
Nvidia.
the. Not Nvidia. Go do Nvidia. Then
You can do Nvidia right
do
now.
Palantir, which we just saw. Who else you want to put on that list? Give me some reasonable companies.
Microsoft.
Why don't you put 4?
AMD making chips.
Put Tesla.
Intel had a
You know what I
bounce.
have that you
Put Intel, and put Oracle. Okay, go with those, and let's see what it shows. Go ahead.
You know what I
PE
gener-
ratio. PE ratio. Yeah.
Yesterday, I asked ChatGPT what have been the most ridiculous PE ratios of all time. I sent Rob that chart, so you'll like that.
Who was at the top? Was it
So
Palantir?
there's been some that have been in the thousands.
I want to know who that
And,
is.
and
Yeah.
some can be infinite if they actually have losses.
Yeah.
So
Is it showing PE ratios? Let's see the PE ratio.
Does.
30. That first one there, Apple. PE
Guess what?
30.2.
Okay. By the way. Let's do this. Apple market cap is showing what right there? $3 trillion. Let me put it to you this way. If Apple's PE ratio was the same as Nvidia, Apple today would be a $50 trillion company. That's what, not Nvidia, what do you call it? Palantir. Okay. So Apple is 30, P ratio, solid. Keep going lower, Rob, if you could. Okay. Next one is Microsoft, 36, 37. Okay. Keep going.
And 3.8 trillion.
Alphabet, 24 at $3 trillion. Keep going lower. You got Walmart. Wow. I don't see Walmart's P ratio, Rob. Do you have it?
It doesn't have it here.
Okay, we'll pull it up separately. Keep going. So Nvidia's what? 212. Keep going, Rob. Palantir, 207, which that's not it, Rob, because it's not showing it now.
For some reason, it stopped showing.
Yeah, it stopped showing
and
it.
by the
Yeah.
way, I'll give you another one. Netflix is at 46.
Netflix is at 46. What are we talking about here? And
Yeah.
the guy is saying
At
go pick on somebody.
$182, he's still at 430.
By the way, do you know what this means, though? If NVIDIA's P ratio, what's NVIDIA's P ratio? 45. No, that's Netflix.
So that's Netflix.
I think there's 60 right now.
But there's big implications of this, Pat, because if indeed, we've known the stock market is at expensive levels, but if indeed there is a change where these prices start to come down to much more, let's call it normalized levels of PE, we know that the drive up in the stock market, and you just showed the chart before when you saw that rise in the S&P, primarily driven by the Mag 7. If the Mag 7 comes down to more normalized PE, that could have very big implications on the overall stock market.
True. True, when you're looking at this kind of stuff. So Michael Burry announces that. How much, Brandon, maybe let me ask you this. Do you agree with him that Palantir and Nvidia are about to have a market correction?
No, I'm scared for Michael Burry because I wonder if he's a little bit like the guy Jesse Livermore that I think a lot of traders know about. You ever hear of that guy? Reminiscence of a stock operator. So he's famous for making like what people call the greatest stock market bet ever. He made $100 million during the Great Depression. He was like a famous short seller, but he made a fortune and lost a fortune several times. So I wonder if Burry's almost chasing that high because I asked ChatGPT yesterday what's his record on trades, and like he's on kind of a losing streak. He did the housing bubble well, he did the GME well, but he got some stuff wrong the last couple of years. He got the bond bet wrong. He got
He did.
the Tesla bet wrong. So I almost wonder if he's chasing the dragon with this. And so I sent Rob this chart that shows. So that's Burry's bets right there. So he's on kind of a losing streak. He had a few wins out of the gate, but he hasn't had like a clear definitive win the last couple of years.
But show what are the companies that had 1,000 PE ratio? Which one were
Yeah,
they?
I sent you that one also, Rob. So just to show, this is an example of how companies who people see a lot of potential in could be debased from reality. So Amazon during the 90s had like a 500 to 3,000 PE ratio, and Tesla in 2020 had a 1,000 PE ratio. You got it, Rob?
I don't. Where did you
Nvidia
send
right
it?
now
sent it
this
in Slack
morning
and
is
in the group.
55.
Say that again, Tom.
Nvidia this morning right now is 55 PE ratio. 55.
Okay. By the way, I'll buy that.
So
Sizzling versus 30 for Apple, but not insane.
So look at this. So Apple or Amazon 500 to 3,000 in 1999, Google 100 to 200 in 2006.
Netflix was 300 to 600. Tesla was 1,000 plus.
Yeah.
What's Tesla today? What's Tesla's PE ratio
It's like
today?
200, I think.
Is it still at 200?
200, yeah. So I think my read on this is when people see that a company has a potential to be a monster, they'll get way ahead of it like that. And I mean, Palantir, as much as I am fearful of what it does and dislike a lot of things about it, is a great, perfect product for right now. Like they're kind of like the Standard Oil of today, where Standard Oil is the first company that started refining oil in a big way, and that's what Palantir does. They're the first company that's like really refining data in a big way. And people call data the new oil, so that's why I think people see so much potential in it.
Well,
People also say, oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to talk about, look, if you look at things like the Fear Greed Index, it's off the chart. It's literally off the chart. The Euphoria Index that Citibank does, it is, if you go above 0.41, it's called Euphoria.
Extreme fear?
Yes. If you but this is a current one.
Yep.
Okay.
Weird.
Yeah, that's really weird. How about Citibank's?
That is extremely weird.
Yeah, it is.
What does greed look like if it's fearful?
That was updated today at 10:20 a.m.
Wow, we're in a weird
By the
place.
way, but
By the
look
way,
at
all
that
the
real
markets
quick.
pre-market reacted badly to the New York election.
But check this. I agree. That's why, because a week ago was at 40. So 40 is
Yeah.
fear. And a month ago was neutral at 53.
Yes.
But we haven't been at greedy.
I mean, the markets are all-time highs every week.
Yeah. How about if we look at the Euphoria Index from Citibank, if you
Very
could possibly
interesting.
pull that up. So there's an old saying that the market tends to inflict the most pain on the most people at the worst time. And you just kind of worry at these levels. Are we at a point where there is at least a correction of significance coming? I'm not saying there's a crash or bear, but are we at those levels, and are there things out there that just provide the excuse for it?
Can we look at two charts, Pat?
Yeah, look at that. You could see the Euphoria Index there, 0.41. You're in Euphoria. You're well above that.
Yeah, and I wonder if
Rob, I texted you.
are we
two
past the
charts.
point of the Fed even allowing a correction? Because what does a correction look like at this point with everything so built up? And I mean, I think a lot of it too has a lot to do with index funds, because the last 15 years, the vast majority of investing has been passive investing from like BlackRock and Vanguard index funds. So I think that has a lot of an effect on it too.
Absolutely, which is why it's so important, because these leaders are so heavily weighted within these funds that they can have a material influence if they come down. If there's Alex Gartman used to say, look, the generals in the market, they drive the market. If you shoot the generals, the market really topples.
Right.
So I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but if you see that, the fact of your point, which is a really good point, so much is indexing. If the indices drop, it has a very wide-based effect.
Yeah.
As far as the Fed goes, just to tell you this, and people aren't looking at this, and I know that the 70% chance of a cut, there will be, and Powell was very emphatic about this, but you kind of have to read between the lines. There will not be a Fed rate cut without the data, which means if the government doesn't open up in time for the data to be collected, the Fed will not make a cut based upon not having the data. You have to kind of read his and watch his speech carefully, but there won't be a cut if we don't see the government open and the data not there.
Very interesting. So people talk about the bubble, Pat. Look at this. This is Cisco. This is a historical chart. Let's see if the eagle-eyed observer can find the dot-com crash.
Yeah.
At that point, in 1999, Cisco had 75% market share of routers. And in 2000, at the moment of crash, Cisco had 86% market share of routers. And everybody's learning what a router was. You needed a bunch of routers to plug in a bunch of things so you could get websites to talk to each other. You needed lots and lots and lots of routers. Well, this was Cisco. Now take a look at that. Now take a look at their history before 1995, Pat. Look at it. We're making routers for about 5 years. Go like 91, 95, and then whammo. Now let's go take a look at Nvidia.
Oh my God.
Look at Nvidia. Now compare them back and forth. Just flip back and forth. So could we be due for the correction in AI? Because you look at the market share that Nvidia has on the engine of AI. Cisco had this on the engine of routers. I don't want a crash. I don't want the madness that comes with the crash. I don't want a sudden correction where average investors can't move their funds quick enough. I don't want that. But I'm looking at both of these, and it makes me wonder, especially when I see Palantir with those PEs, because we have to remember, the Tesla and the Amazon PE came with both CEOs telling us to ignore the PE. And even Elon Musk saying, well, it's a little bit ridiculous because, I haven't even begun to sell the next model car, so I hardly have any profits. So they're completely valuing me on the future of these cars.
Yeah.
He was right. And so it was 1,000 PE by arithmetic, but it wasn't a bad stock price by value of the company, by market cap. Amazon was the same way. So I look at this and I'm like, wow, maybe Michael Burry's right. Now, he's been wrong about a lot of things, but you can't, there's my two proxies. 89% market share of routers for Cisco. I don't know what Nvidia's market share is, but they are the overwhelming market share owner of the biggest, fastest, multi-threaded chips that are needed for AI.
So you
Such
think
a good
there's going to be a
chart.
correction? You think there could be a correction with NVIDIA?
I think there's going to be a correction. I don't think it's going to be like 2000, 2001, which is referred to the quick recession or the nuclear winter. It went like that. And I lived through it. We actually raised a round of fundraising for Jamdat during that. Miraculously enough, we actually got it done, but it was terrible. But it was a fast, terrible year. It wasn't like COVID where it was like year 1, year 2, year 3, bounce out. It was you remember that year.
Of course.
It was a fast, terrible year, but it was
You had
really
that. You
rough.
had that back in April, where you had a correction that was a 20%, correction. You had a bear market, and then you had that big bounce back. So these things can happen. It can correct and go back up. That's the thing about these PE ratios. The market will allow it if you have favorable overall conditions, if you have an accommodative Fed, and if it appears you could grow profits into those PE multiples. So to the extent that right now maybe Nvidia and Palantir look like they can grow their way into these multiples, then the market's going to be pretty lenient on them unless there's an exogenous shock.
Your fear is my fear.
there's
The
this-
government doesn't open.
Yes.
Numbers can't come out. They don't cut the rate, and then they have to chase the rate in January, and that's bad.
2026 is around the corner. Craziness is going on. For some of you guys that have big plans for 2026, I will remind you, whatever you do, do not go into 2026 without a business plan. It'll be a big mistake you're making. There are way too many moving parts. Every year when we do the business planning workshop, I openly talk about what threats and events we're concerned about happening the next year. We openly share with you. Here's what we're looking at. Here's what we're seeing as possible enemy. And here's what we're seeing as an operator, the opportunities that exist for us. And we openly share it with you. We share with you how we're growing our YouTube channel and our media company, what our consulting firm is going. We're sharing our strategies with you. If you're somebody watching and saying, I'm sick and tired of playing small, I want to take my life and my business to the next level, the business planning workshop on December 12th is for you. But number 2, if you're somebody that's running a business and you are already a millionaire, we have a lot of people that watch this content. You're doing 10 million a year, 100 million a year. Maybe you're doing a billion a year. You got a couple thousand employees, but you've gotten to a point where you're bored and it's repetitive and it's just kind of like you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. This is a very, very good event to even wake you up as a leader of the company. So quietly, you can kind of get on the business planning workshop. It's not something that you have to be physically here, from anywhere in the world. So if you haven't yet registered yet, click on a link below. Get registered. December 12th, let's spend an entire day together. We go through a 200-page manual together, which everybody will get. Or you can go to bpw.betdavidconsulting.com. Again, bpw.betdavidconsulting.com. Looking forward to seeing you guys there on December 12th. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.